Trump indicted after Manhattan DA probe for hush money payment. The charges against Trump related to payments made to Stormy Daniels ahead of the 2016 election. Former President Donald Trump has been indicted as part of the new Manhattan District Attorney's Office's years-long investigation, possibly for hush money payment. Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg has been investigating Trump for hush money payment made leading up to 2016 presidential election. These include the $140,000 payment made to adult film actress Stormy Daniels and the $150,000 payment made to former Playboy model Karen McDougal, Fox News Digital has learned. Hush money payments made to both McDougal and Daniels were reviewed and reported by Fox News in 2018. Those payments had been investigated by the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Southern District of New York and by the Federal Election Commission. Federal prosecutors in the Southern District of New York opted out of charging Trump related to the Stormy Daniels payments in 2019, even as Trump's former attorney Michael Cohen implicated him as part of his plea deal. The Federal Election Commission also took its investigation into the matter up to in 2021. This evening, we contacted Mr. Trump's attorney to coordinate his surrender to the Manhattan DA's office for arraignment on a Supreme Court indictment, which remains under seal. A spokesperson for the Manhattan District Attorney's Office said in a statement Thursday, guidance will be provided when the arraignment date is selected. Trump reacted to his indictment, slamming Bragg for his obsession with trying to get Trump, while warning the move to charge a former president of the United States will backfire. This is a political persecution, and election interference at the highest level in history, Trump said in a statement. From the time he came down the golden escalator at Trump Tower, and even before I was sworn in as your President of the United States, the radical left Democrats, the enemy of the hard-working men and women of this country, have been engaged in a witch hunt to destroy the Make America Great Again movement. The Democrats have lied, cheated, and stolen in their obsession with trying to get Trump. But now they've done the unthinkable, indicting a completely innocent person in an act of blatant election interference, he said. Never before in our nation's history this has been done. Trump said Democrats are guilty of weaponizing our justice system to punish a political opponent. Trump attorney Alina Habba said Trump is a victim of corrupted and distorted version of the American justice system and history. He'll be vindicated, she said. Cohen had said Trump directed the payments, which the former president has denied for years. Cohen paid Daniels $140,000 through his own company and was later reimbursed by Trump's company, which logged the payment as legal expenses. McDougal received $150,000 through the publisher of the supermarket tabloid The National Enquirer. The Trump Organization grossed up Cohen's reimbursement for Daniels' payment for tax purposes, according to federal prosecutors who filed the 2018 criminal charges against Cohen for the payment. Trump has repeatedly denied wrongdoing with regard to the payments made to Daniels and McDougal, and has repeatedly said the payments were not a campaign violation, but rather a simple private transaction. The payments to Daniels were first revealed in January 2018 in a Wall Street Journal report that said Cohen Daniels' lawyer negotiated a non-disclosure agreement to prevent her from publicly discussing the supposed sexual encounter with Trump. At the time, though Cohen, Trump, and even Stormy Daniels denied the arrangement. In January 2018, Cohen said that alleged encounter between Daniels and Trump was a human that had circulated since 2011. And in a letter dated in January 10, 2018, obtained and reviewed by Fox News, Daniels also denied the allegations. I recently became aware that certain news outlets are alleging that I had a sexual or romantic affair with Donald Trump many years ago. I am starting with a completely clarity that this is absolutely false, Daniels wrote. My involvement with Donald Trump was limited to a few public appearances and nothing more. Daniels wrote in a letter that when she met Trump, he was gracious, professional, and a completely gentleman to me and everyone in my presence. Rumors that I have received hush money from Donald Trump are completely false, that letter read. If indeed I did have a relationship with Donald Trump, trust me, you wouldn't be reading about it in the news. You would be reading about it in my book. But the fact of the matter is these stories are not true. But in March 2018, Daniels charged her story. During an interview with CBS News 60 Minutes, Daniels claimed she had one time unprotected sexual encounter with Trump. Meanwhile, as for the McDougal payment, David Becker, the former CEO of American Media Inc., testified before the Manhattan grand jury Monday. It was at least the second time he has appeared before the panel as part of Bragg's Trump investigation. American Media Inc. is the parent company and publisher of the National Enquirer. The company allegedly brought McDougal's story from her, in which she claimed a past affair with 10 candidate Donald Trump for $150,000 in September 2016, weeks before the 2016 presidential election. Federal prosecutors in SDNY decided in 2018 not to bring charges against American Media Inc. for spending $150,000 to buy then counsel McDougal's history. At the time, American Media Inc. admitted that its principal purpose in making the payment was to suppress the women's story so as to prevent it from influencing the election. The charges against former President come after the Federal Election Commission in 2021 dropped its case on the same issue, examining whether Trump violated election law with the $130,000 payment made to Stormy Daniels after it failed by a vote 2 to find reason to believe that Donald Trump knowingly and willfully violated federal election law. The investigation into Trump was opened in 2019 by then Manhattan District Attorney Cyrus Vance. The probe was focused on possible bank, insurance, and tax fraud. The case initially involved financial dealings of Trump's Manhattan properties, including his flagship Fifth Avenue building, Trump Tower, and the violation of his 213-acre estate Seven Springs in Westchester. The investigation last year led to tax fraud charges against the Trump Organization and its finance chief Alan Weisberg. Weisberg was accused of collecting more than $1.7 million in off-the-books compensation, including apartment rent, car payment, and school tuition. Weisberg, who pled guilty last year, was sentenced in January to 5 months in prison and 5 years of probation. His testimony last year helped to convict the Trump Organization of tax fraud. Meanwhile, the charges against Trump come amid a separate special counsel investigation into his allegedly improper retention of classified records from his residency at his Mar-a-Lago home. Last August, the FBI, in an unprecedented move, raided Trump's private residence at Mar-a-Lago in connection with the investigation into classified records the former president allegedly took with him from the White House. Attorney General Merrick Garland later appointed Jack Smith as a special counsel to take over that investigation and the Justice Department investigation into the Capitol riot on January 6, 2021, specifically whether Trump or other officials and entities interfered with the peaceful transfer of power following the 2020 presidential election, including certification of the Electoral College vote on January 6, 2021. President Biden is also currently under special counsel investigation for his allegedly improper retention of classified records from the Obama administration. Former Vice President Pence also had classified records at his home, a matter under review by the Justice Department. The charges against Trump also come while New York Attorney General Letitia James continues her years-long civil investigation into the Trump Organization to find out whether Trump and his company improperly inflated the value of assets on financial statements in order to obtain loans and tax benefits.